Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce NBA Friday, but there's only 5 games tonight, so we're going to run through these 5 pretty quick, make some bets. Let's go.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First game up, it's Milwaukee on the road in Indiana here. This line opened up at 7.5, but by this morning it's up to 8.5. Everyone's on the Bucks. Public slightly leaning Milwaukee. Sharp money all over the Bucks here. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Indiana plus 7.31. That's a very, very slight lean, about a 1-point lean on the Pacers here. All right, let's break down the matchup real quick. At first glance, how do we not take the Bucks, right? You got Giannis coming back off injury, looking healthy again, coming off back-to-back monster games. Middleton's back, his minutes are going to start going up. Bucks have looked good in back-to-back games. But there is one thing about Milwaukee that we really can't ignore. Bobby Portis goes down with an injury. Portis is having a monster year for Milwaukee. According to 538 Analytics, Portis is the 3rd highest rated offensive player on the roster this season. Regardless, even without Bobby Portis, that still doesn't take away from the fact that the Pacers are playing without their best player. Tyrese Halliburton has been out for a while. Pacers are just 1-8 since he got hurt. The truth is, with the current injury situation, the Bucks are trending upwards and the Pacers are trending downwards. So my personal bet, I'm going with Milwaukee minus 8.5. I'm going to put an asterisk next to it, though. Just a reminder, this is a division game, and we're laying 8.5 points on the road. I would not be surprised at all if the Pacers come out and play their division rivals tough, even without Halliburton. So I'm taking the Bucks minus 8.5. Put an asterisk next to it, next game. Memphis on the road in Minnesota here. This line opened up Minnesota plus 3.5, but by this morning it's down to 3. And we got a typical pros versus public game here. Public's all over Memphis minus 3. Sharp money is all over Minnesota plus 3. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Minnesota plus 4.63. So another slight lean, about a 1.5-point lean towards Memphis. So the trend ended. Those of you who've been following me on Twitter know that we've been riding this trend. Memphis was 2-12-1 against the spread on the road against Western Conference opponents going into that Golden State game. They lost that game, but they did cover the plus 3.5 number. So now that brings them to 3-12-1 against the spread on the road against Western Conference opponents. I'm going to give this trend one more shot just because I cashed 5 or 6 straight bets on it. I'm not going to bail on it just because of a 1.5-point loss. So give me Minnesota plus 3. If this one doesn't hit, I will officially admit this trend is dead, but I'm riding it one last time. Let's go T-Wolves next game. Cleveland on the road in Oklahoma City. This line opened up OKC plus 1, and everyone's betting the Thunder. Everyone you know, 72% of the tickets, 90% of the money on OKC. Now we're looking at Thunder minus 2. So significant line movement there, but it could be the injury status of Donovan Mitchell. I'll mention that in a second. So let's glance over at the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be OKC minus 3.05. So we're looking at a 1-point lean on the Thunder. So let's break down this matchup real quick. And I'm going to start with trends because the trends point heavy one way. Check this out. Oklahoma City, 11-4 against the spread in their last 15 at home. 6-3 against the spread as home favorites. That's the second best in the NBA. And 15-9 against the spread after a loss. That's also second best in the NBA. Meanwhile, Cleveland is just 3-6 against the spread as road dogs, and that's actually 29th in the NBA, and they're 6-14 against the spread in their last 20 road games. So before we even glance at a basketball statistic, we're already leaning Oklahoma City. But here's the thing. I kind of like this matchup for the Cavs. Do you know that Oklahoma City's been starting 6'6" Kenrick Williams at the 5 recently? Yeah, a 6'6" center against the Twin Towers of Cleveland in Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. That is a mismatch in the making. Now let's give some credit to Oklahoma City. They've actually done a pretty decent job of defending the rim despite having such a lack of size. In the last 2 weeks, they're actually 11th in defensive efficiency under the basket. But we've also seen Capella drop 18, Sabonis drop 18, Claxton drop 17, and Embiid drop 30 all in that span. So although they have done a decent job at defending opposing bigs, we have seen good players take advantage of it. So when you got a team like Cleveland, you got 2 of them. There's Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Both should have their way against this Oklahoma City front court. Meanwhile, what does the Oklahoma City offense like to do? Drive to the basket. A high percentage of their shots come at the rim, which also plays right into Cleveland's defensive strength. I know Donovan Mitchell probably isn't playing. I know everyone in the world is betting Oklahoma City. but I think the books are overplaying this hand, moving it up to 2. I'm going to take the points. Give me Cleveland +2 next game. Orlando on the road in Miami. This line opened up Heat -7, but by this morning it's up to 8. Public's pretty split even, but look at the sharps on Miami. 78% of the money on the Heat as of earlier this afternoon around 1 p.m. Now let's take a glance at the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Miami -8.06. So that's a wash. That tells us nothing. That's exactly where the books have it. That shows us that we've got our model set up right. So I want to start out by saying the fade Miami at home trend is definitely dead. So if you're still riding that, stop. They started off 3-11-1 against the spread in their first 15 home games. It was terrible, just fading them at home, and it was cashing. But in the last 10, they're actually 6-4 against the spread at home. So that trend is dead. The reason I started with that is I saw 2 different sports betting accounts bringing up Miami's against the spread record at home for the season and saying you got to bet against them at home. And I just want to bring up in the last 10, they're actually 6-4. So that trend is no longer a thing. That being said, I really like this Orlando team a lot. It's kind of hard not to like all those young guys. Did you know that the Magic are second in the NBA, sitting at 27-20-1 against the spread? Not only that, but they've actually really played well in this matchup too. They're 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 against Miami. This is a division rivalry, an in-state rivalry. This is the battle for Florida here. I'm taking the points. The Magic always play these guys tough. Give me Orlando +8 next game. Toronto on the road in Golden State here. The line opened up Warriors -6, but actually dropped down to 5. And it looks like the sharps like Toronto here if you take a look at the money. Let's glance over at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Golden State -2.27. So we're looking at a nice little lean, 2.5 point lean on Toronto. I want you to rewind back about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Do you remember the days where you could just blindly bet Golden State at home and just count the money already before the game tips off? Well, those days are long gone. Golden State started off 14-4-1 against the spread at home. We were riding that too. If you signed up to the VIP, we were riding that every night. Well, Golden State's 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 home games. And they're not just not covering the number, they're straight up losing. Take a look at their last 5 home games right here. Detroit, Phoenix, Orlando. There's some bad losses in there. Their only win was the other night against Memphis. They didn't deserve to win that game. I watched every single minute of that game. Memphis was the better team. Golden State's great at closing out games at the end of the 4th quarter. So they were able to win, but they didn't cover. They should be 0-5 in their last 5 home games. So I just can't get there. I can't lay points to a Toronto team that's coming off back-to-back impressive win. Well, one really impressive win and one solid win against the Knicks. But this Toronto team looks like it might be turning a corner. I can't lay 5 points to them. So I'm fading Golden State at home. Give me Toronto +5, lock it in. VIP tickets with the bet of the day and the parlay of the day. If you're interested in that, head over to KyleKirms.com or download the Sauce Network app. Also, if you're betting the NFL games this Sunday, conference championship games, I'm going to be uploading 2 pick videos, one for each game later tonight. So if you're betting those, make sure you come back and check those out. Everyone have a great weekend and remember to bet responsibly. I will talk to you on Twitter.